All right, morning report. All right, we are live, baby. Here we go. Here, and I'm gonna just push pause on that. Yep, got to start that. Get the commercial. Good evening, everybody. It's 7-Eleven here. Wait, it's 7-Eleven, man. Good time to start. Welcome to the rabbit hole this evening. And I keep hearing bells everywhere. I don't know what the frack that is. But this microphone picks up everything. You know, a flea fart 500 yards away. Oh, I know what it is. My land. It is what it is. Let's see. I got to hurry up here. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the rabbit hole. I have with me this evening, I have Clemens Trude, and better known as the Walleye King. He's a fish killer. He doesn't leap tall buildings, but he's a fish killer. And he eats a lot of fish too. Stinky breath and all. But you'd think he was Chinese or something, but he's not. He's white. I've seen him bald, but white. And then we have Canuck, better known as the New Brunswick, Canada guy, who knows all things Canada. So if you want to know anything about Canada, he knows it all. And then here I am, just your happy, well, beer drinking MC. And I've only had 2 beers, I think. I can't
Don't worry, brother. I'm darker than you.
I haven't got to the second one. Still working on the first. But I'm excited about this evening. Don't know what the heck we're going to talk about. There's been some disappointment in solar activity, and yet there's some scary stuff. Not non-solar activity, but space activity. And from the article I read is just, and I posted it yesterday, and a little disconcerting because everybody's in the north that are listening to this channel right now, except for those in the New Zealand area and all Aussie area. They're in the south. But anybody in the north, they better. It's not being said anywhere. But there's an article out there. The scientists are, and the governments are going, "Hey, we got to put a rocket into space. We got to do it quick, Elon." You know, they're asking everybody. But we'll talk about that too. We'll talk a little bit about Iceland and I think we're going to talk about 1851. I think that's the date. That's 1851 that my boy Canuck has some interesting concepts on, and he's going to kind of explain to you how we do what we do here when we individually go down a darn rabbit hole, and it just kind of takes over. And he's going to talk about his rabbit hole that he's been doing here in the last 2 days. So I kind of threw that on him. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and play this for you that are out there on YouTube, out there on Rumble, out there on Twitter, out there on Facebook. Hey, take a look at this. Hi, I'm Joe of the Joe Slick Live Show. My interactive live show is on twitch.tv/Joe Slick Live. Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, and occasionally in the evenings at 7. During the live show, I review and talk about reports from government, private, and other reporting agencies and websites regarding celestial and terrestrial phenomena. Topics will include solar flares, sunspots, geomatic storms, and near-Earth asteroids and comets that are being monitored around the world. Included in the report is current events in the last 12 to 24 hours here on Earth, consisting of volcanic, seismic, and weather events. I close the morning report off with what's happening in the local and world news. Thank you, and you can be a part of the morning report by going to twitch.tv/Joe Slick Live. Look forward to seeing you there, and remember, don't get none on you. Don't get none on you, baby. Make sure you like and subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified when we go crazy. Bing! Yeah, amen, baby. Good evening, everybody. Welcome. No sound. You got sound, baby. You didn't have no sound?
Tony says he just wrapped off the black guy.
What happened?
Hmm?
Did you have sound?
Yeah, I still got sound.
Now? You didn't have no sound in that commercial?
Yeah, I heard it. Yeah.
You heard it. I heard it.
Yeah.
What happened to Dub? Promo didn't in any I can't say it. I don't speak a Chinese. Inikikili. Is that it might be Hawaiian, I don't know. Initially. Okay. Oh my gosh. Anyway. Good evening, everybody. Nice to see you. I love Wednesday nights and I love Saturday nights. We've been doing a pretty regular Saturday night. That's not a for sure thing, but Wednesday nights, pretty sure. And I know Canuck enjoys it. I know Clem does too. We try to stay here about an hour, hour and a half and hang out with you. And first edition of Drunk. Nobody's drunk. You want to join, Kat? I'll send you a link. You can have a glass of wine and you can hang out. I'll bring you in.
Come on in.
Yeah,
The water's fine.
Water's fine, no doubt, no doubt.
Yeah,
I'd like to have the ladies' perspective here live anyway. That'd be kind of really fun.
all I drink is water this time of night.
Yeah, you have I just got my blood test back, buddy, and I'm negative on everything. Can you believe it?
Yeah, that's
They
good.
said I'm healthy as a horse. I says, then why my back hurt? You know, it just doesn't make sense. I think it's the results of COVID, you know. I didn't take the jab, so you know what? If you don't like me because I didn't take the jab, forget all y'all. Bye. And I'm against the jab because I know it's poison, and they're all saying it's poison now. They poisoned my daughters, and you got to wonder who I got to take out. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not taking them out to dinner either. So if something happens, you know I'm going to be a very bad person. But 1.9, the show? What? Eden's in the house. Hey, Eden, how are you? Nice to see you. Yeah, you've been hanging out here on and off pretty good there. We love to see you, Eden. We love to see Lake Girl 19 here. We love to see Flutter Girl and Diesel in the AZ. Susan's, she might be asleep. She's not up yet. Just Simply Sue. We love seeing Susan 70 times 7 as well. Ma. Yes, I worry a bit. No jab, but I work on people. 42's in the house. That's my boy. He came in. I love seeing 42. I wish all y'all knew who 42 was. And Clem, you would love him. I'm telling you, you would love him.
All right.
Because he's like us in the fact that he's got a great sense of humor. And, you know, he's a private guy, and I appreciate that. But he's his smile, man, and his laughter, geez, it's intoxicating, you know, like in your room with him and he's doing his thing. It's like, what the? He's off the hook. And we've had a lot of good time. And my pops likes him, and everybody else does too that I've introduced him. He's the first one I got to hang out with on JSL here. Now, not to say that nobody else is, you know, better or worse, but, you know, he just had the opportunity to go see a ball game with me. And my other boy, he drove 1,800 miles one way. And then he hung out with me. And he hung out with me a week. And then he drove 1,800 miles back. That's some love right there, I mean, tell you. And he's very much appreciated. Who I'm talking about? Yeah, that's right. The fish killer. Yeah, the walleye king. Yep. And almost had a time to hang out with Lake Girl. We just couldn't get the organization down. And also with Calmness 55. We just couldn't get the organization down. But it's fun. Timing and all, because, hey, you got to work, you don't got to work and all that. And then you're just driving through. Hey, whatever. We'll have more fun in the years to come. And things were going to change here on JSL on the Twitch channel and YouTube channel. YouTube's probably going to go, I don't know if they'll let me go 24/7. They won't let me be monetized until I reach 1,000 hours of watch time. With me, that's like 1 month is 700 and some hours. So 2 months of 24/7. All right. There's that. And then I need 1,000 people to subscribe, which is like, I don't know. So we're going to have to make some crazy videos and some crazy, what do you call those little pictures or whatever they need to draw attention to our channel. Because it's not just me, it's all y'all out there in, the JSL family who's, part and parcel to what goes on here. And for those who donate your time, thank you. And those who donate a little bit of money, I've never asked for money, and it's kind of a shame to do that, because I work and I pump everything I can into it, and to try to make it an easy, fun time for y'all. And I enjoy it. I have a freaking kick-ass time. And sometimes I'd fall asleep, which I've done. Been on here, like, they had to call me up. Hey, wake up, stupid. Oh, okay. But that was a long time ago. Tonic water, HCQ, hydrochloride. I don't know what the Q means. But ivermectin removes all the parasites. There's another thing you can eat, and it kills all the bugs in your stomach too. Ivermectin is one of them, and there's another one too. It's a good thing, I think. Figure out your gut health, I guess. That way you can go potty when you need to go potty. I don't have that problem. Like I said, the blood test told me everything was fine. Then why am I so painful? Hydrochloroquine. Yeah. I heard they outlawed that again. Yeah. They're worried about the bird flu. Speaking about the bird flu, I have a very good friend who lives in Alabama. And he lost his wife. And she had the bird flu. It took a month. And they couldn't do anything about it because they didn't know what to do about it. I don't know what to do about the bird flu. I know ivermectin stops everything else, but I don't know if it stops the bird flu. So I think that might be a discussion that we might need to be talking about. The crisis of this bird flu that's spreading throughout the nation, and it's a little bit overlooked. She got the bird flu not being around birds or pigs. I think they used to call it the pig flu. Then it turned out to be the bird flu. I don't know how that works. How did a pig get with a bird? I don't know. But I got these boys. They're open. Clemmer's on mute. Clemmer, you can turn it off if you want. Turn it back on when you can.
I'm here.
All right, buddy. I heard something about leprosy in Florida. Yeah. Leprosy is making a comeback. Everybody who's taken the jab, I'm going to tell you what's in it. And because most people were forced to take the jab, and like my daughters were, I couldn't stop them before they did it because extenuating circumstances. But one couldn't have a job if she didn't do it. And I think that's most of the pain that a lot of people encountered. And watching an athlete just have problems, but some of them are surviving now. If they put the proper thing to fix them when they have that event, I think they're survivable. But if your doctor doesn't know what the hell they're doing, I don't know. But I heard some people do survive and get through it. So there's no ways to clean it either, man. I don't know, the Chinese thing, you put that thing on the bottom of your foot where it sucks all that iron and metal out of your body. That's, toxic. Yeah. And then
talking like putting Vicks on your feet.
Yeah, it's kind of like something on the bottom of your foot, and then it'll like put a tampon pad or something. Not a tampon, but a woman pad. It'll suck it all out of your body.
Yeah, it sucks all the toxins out.
Yeah.
Well, they say you can do that with an onion too, though.
Yeah, I heard that, garlic and onion. Yeah. Detox. If you haven't had COVID, I've had it 3 times. Mine felt like just a cold. In the dictionary or whatever it says, what COVID is, the common cold. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure, like, I've had it twice, but I've never been tested for it.
Right, I've never been tested, but my family did.
The only thing I could say different versus a normal cold is the body aches were pretty bad.
Well, that's
the only difference.
That's the flu, yeah.
Yeah, well, I had it once officially because they tested me for it and said that's what it was.
Got to the second one.
But I think I've had it like probably, I don't know how many times, probably 5 or 6 times by the symptoms. It's just they were way
I never had
milder
that problem, late girl.
They were just way milder than.
Did you have it where you lost your taste or lost your hearing and all that?
Well, how it started with me originally was my ear went all weird, but I never lost my.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
my taste or anything, but that's how it started.
Right.
And they said it was like trying to get me for a month based upon what I told them.
Right.
Because they said you were having all these weird symptoms that would like go away and then come back again like a week later until finally.
Well, that's because you didn't clean your house. You got to clean your house, man. If you get sick, if somebody's throwing up in your house, go down to the store, buy these little wipies that got the bleach and all the other crap in it, and wipe down every knob, everywhere you put your hand, the back of the toilet, the sink, the light switches, the remote control is the big one. And then the countertops.
In the back of the toilet.
Well, wherever you put your hand, you got to flash the toilet. So the knob is what I'm talking about. All the knobs in your house, right? That's the first thing you hit. All the knobs, everything where your hands go. And then open your windows. Don't close them. And then
that only works for half a year for us up here, Joe.
Yeah, because it was winter when I.
The other half works below zero.
Well, dude, it'll freeze it to death. But because it doesn't like cold. It likes warm, moist. And when I got it, I didn't let it stop me from. I do physical labor, so when I'm working, I'm sweating. But what it did for me is it made me sweat profusely. Now there was a week where when the big one hit me, the big COVID hit me, where I couldn't talk anymore because I was hacking so much. I lost my voice for the week, and I felt terribly not being able to be here on JSL. I was going freaking bananas, but I couldn't do anything about it. But I still worked my ass off, sweated it out, and it didn't get me. But then again, I have a very unique constitution where I don't get sick. And if I do, then I'm sick. And there are people who get sick at the drop of somebody sneezes, they get sick. I don't. I eat pretty well. Steak Friday tomorrow.
Steak Friday, man.
It's not tomorrow. I had it yesterday. I'm gonna have it again Friday. But
People
yeah.
that get sick all the time just got weak immune systems. It's because they wash their hands too much, and they
Well,
don't
you
go
gotta
out
have
and get their hands.
you
I
gotta
mean,
eat
every
that
once in a while you
natural
got to eat a
right.
you
You
got
gotta
to
eat
eat
that
a
natural
sandwich
garlic.
that's got a little 1030 motor oil on it.
There you go. That's I want to say that's almost true. About 10 years ago, I was doing some research and trying to find out why my kids were getting sick all the time. Well, they were getting sick from school. It was, well, not 10 years, shit, 20 years. All right. God bless America. They were young. But what I ended up doing was I told them and I taught them, don't drink off the water faucets at work. So at school. And we sent them bottled waters, right? Which we find out later, that's the worst you can do because it's got all the plastics in it. But we were doing it. And then if the kids were sick, we have a sick cup. It's a 40-ounce cup, that you get from the store or from the, drive-through. And it's cleaned out, of course. And everybody's got a sick cup. So if you're going to throw up, you throw up into that and you pour it away. You don't make a mess. But you got to teach your kids that. And I said, you got a sick cup, huh? Oh, yeah. Not feeling well. Oh, no, I'm not. Okay. And then you got to clean everything, man. You got to clean it. But that's if there's sickness in your house. Otherwise, you need to have a little biologicals in your house so that your immune system is natural, that it can naturally fight what's going on around the world. They give us so many stuff for cleaning that we clean the countertops, we clean the utensils, we clean so much that the natural bacteria that we would normally get, that our bodies would develop an immune system to, we don't do it because everything's so spotless. And that's what Clem's talking about.
Well, I mean, when I was growing up, we used to have what they used to call chicken pox parties. If one kid on the block got the chicken's pox,
everybody did.
Everybody came over to his house. So you just all get it and be done with it.
Yeah. And then now they're telling us all when they're my age, oh, you better get the shot. I said, why? Because you're going to get shingles. I said, all right. What shingles? Well, it's because you had the chicken pox.
Well, my youngest daughter's had shingles twice.
Yeah. And she's probably has more immune shots than you do.
Yes, by far.
I think when I was a kid, I remember them sons of bitches. God, I remember it. Sticking that needle in my freaking thigh. Holy. That was the worst.
You ever had rabies shots when you were young?
No,
27 shots in your stomach?
No, I never had those. I
got bit by a rabid skunk when I was like 4 years old.
Oh,
and it was 27 shots in the stomach.
Well, you shouldn't put your finger in his butt. It won't bite you then.
I was trying to feed him a piece of chicken.
Oh, he bit you?
Yeah.
Oh, why the hell would he bite you? Oh, he'd probably bite the food and you.
No, he totally missed the food and bit me.
Oh, shoot. Oh, because he was rabid.
Yeah, he was full of rabies.
Oh, so you had the rabies one. Oh, man. I know it's in your stomach, and I think they got it down to 4 times. Yeah, watch lettuce.
Back when I had it was 27 shots.
Yeah, dealing with
you're right. Pull at the mouth once in a while.
She says, I know a man who got sick in November before the COVID started. He slowly died, and actors had actors had no clue what was going on. Yeah, I had a friend of mine who's a server. A friend of mine, because I make friends of the servers that serve me at the restaurants I patron. I develop a relationship. We hang out, freaking talk, and have a very good time. So we friended this guy, and before COVID came out in, what was it, September? It was like February, March, April that he was sick as a dog. This thing was out a while. It wasn't like it got released in Mogadishu or where the hell it was, and the next day everybody in the world's sick. No, people from China were coming over here, especially where I lived. It was, yeah, there are a lot of different people coming from the different world into that area. So it was, but he got it, and he was scared to death. He couldn't breathe. His lungs were not right, and they didn't know what to do. They didn't incubate him at that time. Most people who died, they died from the incubation, by the way. Starvation and dehydration too, because they kept them away from their families, and then nobody loves me, and they died. But it's coming out slowly that doctors had their hands tied, and I don't blame the doctors and the nurses. They were appalled at what was going on. But those sons of bitches that believe that the jab was the right way to go when there was no testing, and except for up in Africa, which what's his name got kicked out of, right? And this is all a conspiracy. Yeah. And I'm telling you this on YouTube because it is conspiratorial. I'm not subscribing to it, but this is just what I heard. It's, it's out there. And because YouTube's, their panties are on too tight. All in a wad or something. And I'm just going to let that one go.
Untwist them, please.
Yeah, I'm not going to touch the damn things. The Karen might pop out. I watched a few Karens today going, what the hell's wrong with you? It's like, what reality do you live in? Don't watch your news channels. I mean, watch it with a grain of salt, like it's a comedy show. Not like it's you can't. I mean, even this channel here, where we're at, we're doing the best we can with the knowledge that we have or the lack thereof. And then we research stuff out and we try to find out what's going on. And, it's crazy. It's crazy. Always check with your doctor on anything you hear, especially from this channel, because we're a bunch of wackadoodles. But always check with your doctor. And if you doubt your doctor, get another opinion. You can talk to the witch doctor down the street. Might give you his number for a price. Just don't take love potion number 9.
Right?
You'd be wearing some pink tutus running down the street going, wee, wee, trying to find that magic horse with a horn on it, whatever the hell that thing's called.
The unicorn.
Is that what that is? I don't know what it is. But the witch doctor just shows you a picture. Chase it. But anyway, don't go to a witch doctor's. Those are bad. Buckle up, stay safe. I wish I could go do something. Quick Cat, you can. You can do a whole lot. Headed down with Mr. Lake TV time. Right on. Tell Scott we said, hey. Read it again, Joe? Okay. I wish Hawaii would just do something. Are you talking about how the
volcano?
Oh, it's just doing it. Oh, the swarm? Yeah. I thought you were talking about the lasers. So I'm going, what? Trying to figure out what you're saying here, girl.
It did the same thing in 1951 until it had a couple 6s.
Yeah. It's common. It's on a rifting zone that is super active. It's gonna quake and it's gonna erupt. It's gonna everywhere, and that's okay. It's all right. So yeah, thanks, Kat, for putting us back on a train. People smoke mules and heal their lungs So I hear. What?
I usually smoke briskets.
Yeah, a smoked brisket's pretty good. That'll heal just about anything, especially
Well,
hunger.
What was weird with me is the COVID affected more my digestive system than my
Right, right. Well, I when I got COVID, I was like I was kicked in the gonads, and I was walking like I rode a mule team for a week, 2 weeks. That's what happened to me. It's like I got kicked in the nuts.
because it basically inflamed my esophagus and everything
Yeah.
else. Because when they put me through the CT scan, that's what they said. They said like everything is all.
That's what you found out
inflamed
about.
in March.
That's when you found out about eating smaller amounts and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And
Well,
you lost quite a bit of weight.
Yeah, they had to put me on a liquid diet to get me back. So that
Wash your freaking hands. Don't pick your nose, she says. I'm nobody's picking her nose. I can't see anybody. I'm not turning on the camera on either of you boys.
Because what they basically did, because I was so
I'm sorry.
dehydrated and my electrolytes were shot and my blood sugar was spiking right high, they basically put me on a liquid diet. And
yeah, we were praying for you there, Canuck. You know, that's the one thing about
because I was bad for like 10 days. The first 4 days, all I was doing, it was like a super bad flu.
You're right.
Puking and everything else that comes with that. But
right.
then I couldn't eat anything. So then I just kept getting.
Then you got the Hershey squirts out of there. Then you got dehydrated.
Yeah. And then I couldn't move. So that's when the ambulance had to come and take me to the hospital.
I remember.
6 days.
Yeah. We were worried about you. We're all praying for you. That's what I love about JSL. People here pray for other people. And you don't have to be religious to do it. You just, ask the creator of the universe, say, God, you're the creator of the universe. Please help my friend or help my brother, help my sister. And this
help my buddy.
Yeah, help my buddy.
And they were worried because they kept checking my heart because they thought it was going to do something to my heart, but it never did. They seemed to be more worried about that and that my blood sugar was spiking all over the place. But
yeah, they didn't get that under control. And then you got virtually your blood sugar went fine after a minute.
Yeah,
you're watching it again.
Yeah, I just went back to doing my regular thing again after I could actually eat.
He still eats Kit Kats. I know. Little knucklehead. He's diabetic and he eats Kit Kats. But he said he had to go off his medicine for a while and he was okay. But if I remember correct, and then now you're back on it because you like Kit Kats.
Yeah.
See, Kit Kat. Somebody likes. I mean, yeah, Kit Kat, Quick Cat.
That's about the only bad thing I have other than coffee.
He likes you though. He likes you too, Kitty Cat. Don't worry about it. I think let's kind of shift gears here. I don't know why we went down that damn rabbit hole because I'm just rabbit hole time. I think what was it that?
Well, I think everybody's still getting it now. It's just a milder form because everybody's got immunity.
Developing. Well, those who didn't get the jab, they're going to develop immune systems. Those who did get the jab won't get the immune. That's why they get it more. Because the jab removes the immune system altogether.
I've had like similar symptoms since different times, but nowhere near as bad as what I had.
Right. I've had it too. When I lost my voice, when I was, hammering out that bathroom, I literally took a 3-pound sledge. It broke the tub, the cast iron tub, and into pieces to bring it out the house. And then all the funny thing of that stucco was 1.5 inches thick, and my house is only 3/8 thick. I can't. I don't want to go there. I'll go ape shit on that. But I agree with you, bud. You were really sick. We were praying for you. And I know a couple of other people who we were praying for. They recovered as well. They were in dire straits. and God brought him through.
Well, it took me a month just to get back to normal, so I could do like normal stuff outside.
Oh, no doubt. Your brain wasn't normal.
Yeah.
For me, although I worked it through, I sweated it out. Like that's kind of my mentality of trying to beat a cold or a sickness, not to lay in bed, but to get out there and sweat. And I know that's another song that's running through my head. Can't do it because of copyright. I know, but I have my own songs running through my head. I'm a weirdo. But I remember that when you were doing that and you were sick and your brain wasn't good for like 3 months. And then, the other big event in your life happened and you're virtually back to normal.
Yep. Pretty much.
Yeah.
As far as I know.
I love picking your brain, and I think I'm not picking his nose, picking his brain. And drawing out of you what you've read over the weeks and months and kind of applying it to what we're studying. And what we're studying tonight is not satellites, because we've already covered that. But I think, Canuck, you have something on Iceland. The last I heard, but I'm going to let you say it.
Well, now they're saying about 2 weeks. That's their estimate for when.
What 2 weeks? What? Tell us.
Next 2 weeks till the next eruption. But it may be longer than that. They're not sure.
And the uplift on the ground is...
Yeah, it's steady staying at what it was. So whatever it is, 4 to 6.
Yeah, I think you're right there. Gaslighting me, she says. Kitty cat, we're not gaslighting you, girl.
And it's been raining there a lot lately because I watched Iceland Explorer's video today because he was taking tourists to walk on the lava and it was steaming like crazy today. So it was pretty.
Is there any risk of that?
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Is there any risk of that rainwater getting down in there and then make the magma kind of more explosive?
Well, no, it wasn't really making it explosive. It was just like making a whole bunch of steam and stuff, because he was showing it on his video. They were walking around on top of it and was coming up through the cracks, and it was so bad that it was making it foggy and they could hardly see each other because all the people he was with, they didn't go too far away because you'd lose them in the fog because it was like pouring rain and it was windy, so it was like blowing all, like the people were standing like right over the vents or beside the vents where the steam was coming up and the gases, because now they're allowed to actually go on it and check it all out again. So all the tourist people are all going on it and walking on the lava, so it's all very exciting. So it kind of reminds me like how it was back when the first eruption started, because they were allowed to get right close to it, but which they haven't been most of the time up until just the last whatever it's been, week or so. So the Iceland Explorer guy there, that he takes the tourists on the buses to the Blue Lagoon. So that's where they're going. Then they go down a side road that they made there next to the lava, and that's how they get down to it. And then they go all off and walk on it and stuff, all the tourists. So it's pretty funny because he goes on it with them and like films all of it and stuff. So it's pretty interesting there today, because I'd seen him like walk on it before when it wasn't like raining and stuff, so there was like a little bit of steam and stuff coming out of it, but today it was like crazy because it was super windy and raining, and they were all out there walking on it, and it was making all this steam coming up and you couldn't see. It was like, and it was blowing like there's big gusts of wind that was blowing it every which way, and like it must not have been making gas that would hurt people, because like they were all right in the middle of it, so the authorities had to allow them to go there. So I thought it was pretty crazy because there's people like standing right over the vents, like where the steam was blowing up from the cracks in the lava. It's just wild. And like he was explaining all the stuff that was going on there. And he had to tell the people not to wander off too far because you couldn't see them because all the gas, steam, and all the stuff blowing in the big wind gusts. It was crazy.
Do they have monsoons there?
Well, he just said it's been raining a lot lately.
Yeah, I
the
saw
last
the
few
rain.
days.
I saw the rain a lot. It rains a lot up there. Well, it's freaking cold. I mean, it's way the hell up there. It's loop elevation, I think. What do you call that? Not elevation.
Well, yeah, this is like their warmest time of the year, but
all right, they got a lot more sun. Yeah, but
yeah, it's like their warm time is like 15 degrees. That's like a super hot day, Celsius.
I don't know what that is. Probably 45 degrees, 50 degrees.
60.
60. Clem might have to go to Iceland. Well, President Trump is going to buy Iceland. I mean, is it Greenland? I think he wanted to buy Greenland.
It'd probably be perfect for me. I'd love it there because I like the cold.
Yeah, the Icelandic people are very, very, very nice. I really like them. I haven't met any bad Icelandic people. He dropped off. Yeah. He'll be back.
Because like what they wear there for like clothes when they're out there doing stuff is like the same thing I'd wear here in the early spring.
I won't respond to that, but I'll tell you after the fact, after we're not on video. But there he is. My boy's back.
Yeah, sorry, my tablet kind of screwed up there, so
I apologize. Yeah, you'll be okay. Okay, so Iceland is percolating. The last I read this morning, it's the numbers were getting up there, dude. I mean, seriously. Let me see if I can show you here.
Yeah, so let's just wait and see what's gonna happen.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, they said online here a couple of weeks. Cameraman's getting that. Busy Manny, boo, e-boo. It's Vartfinzingy. That's what we need to do. Why don't you? Yeah, never mind. I got it right here. Shut up, will you? All right. So the red dot is this current. All right, the current status. See this gold one right here? That gold one is the inflation episode from 3/17 of this year, and it until May 28. So that was a pretty good one. And this one, if you look straight across, right, that's the magma volume per cubic meter. You can see it's pretty far up there.
Yeah.
Right. So the eruption is the stars. We already got 2 stars that's passed. It's almost gathering to a 3rd star. And then it'll be the 3rd highest. Out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9 eruptions.
Yeah, they think it's going to take 2 weeks to get it to what it did the last time.
Within 2 weeks, possible scenarios. Where that is, here's the map. The danger zone's in red, of course. Grindavik, because it's Vartfinzingy. This is the whole series of Vartfinzingy. And Sunuker is part of that. And there's Vartfinzingy right there in Zone 1. Zone 1 is lava fall gas pollution right now. Zone 3 right here is sinkholes, fault movements, and lava flows. Yeah, the ground is still moving, everybody. The faults are moving. It's not like it's just getting hard and staying there. The thing is fluid. It's hot underneath the surface. They don't know how deep it is, how deep the hotness is, but it's hot underneath the surface. If they did a what is that, Sat2 or whatever, if they did one of that, I'd like to see that channel because it'll tell us exactly where the hot spots are. Sinkholes, fault movements, and lava flow zone 4, which is down here at Grindavik. Right, zone 5 is lava flow. That's where the lava flow was, right? Zone 6 is the sinkholes, just sinkholes, and then what happens is the sinkhole happens and then stuff comes right out of it. And zone 7 is kind of fault movements. And you can see all the faults on here, right? There's 4 or 5 sectors that run across Iceland. This is not in the middle, but it's closer to the western side. Am I correct on that, Canuck? The fault systems that work through? Because I think eastward is where the big volcanoes start to hit.
Yeah, but there's other like fissure.
Yeah, fissures. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
So they're all in.
This is a map you all can see, I think.
Southwest to northeast lines, the
Right.
faults. But so the fissures open up along them.
Yeah, the fissures open up this northeast to southwest line.
So are they following lediments, Canuck?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, there's a big limit that crosses through.
And then you will find like the bigger volcanoes on them too, the farther you go over.
I agree with you. Kat says this. She says, most folks only think of volcanic regions in terms of magma, but the tectonic aspect is just as important. It's the tectonics and the convection and the melting of rock and the expansion of gases that create volcanoes and or water spouts, like what happened in Yellowstone here the other day. Quite a big explosion.
Well, the tectonic aspect of the plates moving around, what causes everything, that's why we have volcanoes and stuff too.
Yeah, because there has to be a place for it to come through, right? So you need cracks or
Texas
whatever.
bouncing again. It's a 3.9 up there where they had that 5. So just wanted you to know. Because the damn thing's beeping at me. If you hear that in the background, it's beeping at me. Like, hey. Yeah, so it just came in as a 4.0 now. Intensity level is a 5. Not back down to 3.8. Still fluid until it's all worked out. Well, somebody called it a 4.1. Detected 76% at a 4.2 now. Shoot. 4.3. It's a level 6 intensity shaker. Yeah. I kept hearing a binger, binger, binger go on. And what's the level of this thought process? The quality is an S. So that's the S wave here. About 7 miles deep. It's up to a 4.6.
I never looked up to see what Texas was doing in 1951.
Right. Central Texas.
Acting up.
Yeah. Central Texas right now.
Because it's been acting up ever since the 7.4.
It seems like every time we come on to do a rabbit hole, something happens.
Yeah.
There's only a 4.6. Now, it's all the way up to a 4.6. So, Greece came in at 1.9. Hawaii's at a 1.5. Alberta had a 4 magnitude today. Yeah, we saw that. Along the whole range of Texas and Yellowstone, Alberta is being smushed. Yeah.
Yeah, and the 2 big fires are taking out the town of Jasper right now.
Wyoming?
No, Jasper, Alberta.
Oh, okay.
The big national park that's there that all the tourists were at, and they all had to evacuate the other night, so they couldn't go the way they usually do into Alberta, so they all had to drive into BC where there's more fires. And now they're all stuck in BC, surrounded by fires and smoke, trying to get away from the one in Alberta.
Well, that ain't good.
Yeah, so it's pretty exciting. So all the crazy tourists driving in the dark and with the fire on both sides of the road.
Okay, so they're saying it's a 4.6 West Texas. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so that's what they did. So they drove in the dark into Kamloops, BC, which is right in the middle where all the other fires are. So it's pretty crazy up there. And they were getting it bad because it was super windy and more thunderstorms and stuff there. So it was blowing stuff every which way and making the fire go all over the place. And
Kitty Cat, I want to thank you You just proved the chicken leg. You understand what I mean by chicken leg now. Go ahead there, Clem, or Luke. Or, Canuck. Yeah, see, Clem's got like a couple of names.
Well, it's going up the continental divide limit, basically.
The Continental Divide, yeah.
Because it's all on that side.
The Rio Grande, yeah.
Yeah, the foothills of the
Yes.
Rockies going all the way up.
To me, the old ancient Rio Grande Rift is the EPR. It just ran it over a couple million years ago. But hey, who's counting? But that's
and everything in BC's all burning up. So it's like everything right from the mountains all the way right to the coast, pretty much.
Well, that stuff needs to burn. It's like it gets frozen, right? It's like the old days where they do have some heat up there where the snow melts. Then the trees grow and then they freeze and they die. And then another tree starts to grow when they have another thing. And they're so compact. These forests are real all the way through Alaska and all that. It's amazing. Maybe 100 years from now when the ice caps are gone, which they're going to be, maybe. Depends on what happens in October, right?
But right now, it's like bad from Eastern Oregon. And they were getting more crazy storms.
Eastern Oregon, I think, is having part of that heat problem that we're having here in California and Arizona and Nevada, New Mexico, and Colorado, or Wyoming and Colorado, then Wyoming, yeah. But the West has been under excruciating heat, and it's not characteristic of the area to have this kind of heat. So, and I think that heat transposes on the areas around it, so they're going to naturally be warmer. Clem said he's been having some rain, but it's been pretty cold by him. And
the rain quit here about a couple weeks ago, and it's been nothing but hot ever since.
Right. So, but you had a long time of rain. But you didn't get any during the winter. You got it during the spring and first part of the summer. So, and he's up in North Dakota. So that's pretty far. He's basically a Canuck, but he didn't say too much,
No,
but it's
only when he sees people from
all his friends say that they got that Canuck kind of sound to them. But look, he doesn't really have it. He's been around the planet a little bit. 2 million miles or thereabouts?
Yeah, because the red flag warning there right now goes all the way from Oregon, Eastern Washington, all the way through Idaho. Looks like all of Montana and half of Wyoming now, and
all of Oregon.
Yeah, the small corner of
Cal is already burning up too.
A small corner of North Dakota and part of South Dakota over to the
Butcher
Black Hills.
That thing is done. 0% didn't tell you.
Because now I can see all that stuff on the firm's map because they have the red flag warning. You can click it.
Yeah, I'm looking on the map here, and just in my area. My daughter. I'm just looking on the map, and in my area, the butcher fire doesn't exist, but it's there because it's not burning. Boy, that looks like something came right in there, or just kind of like slow up here. It grew up, and it's kind of like down the face of that mountain.
And there's a whole bunch of new red hot spots in West Texas too. I see.
West Texas.
Yeah, from the land satellite ones.
Right. That's the garage door. Yeah, this one ain't showing it to me unless I go to 24, right? There it is. Yeah. You got to go to 24. West Texas. Yeah. That's actually down right here. Yeah, we just had an earthquake here by Odessa.
Yeah.
So I thought it was an M. What's that town right there? Midland, yeah, Big Spring. Just had an earthquake up here. So we're watching that, and it was almost a 5. We had a 5 the other day here, and then this side over here by the Rustler Hills, west of Pecos, is always banging. And then they always say, "Oh, it's New Mexico." It ain't New Mexico. Fix it. You know, I would say Pecos because it is in the state. Well, what state is it in? It's in Texas, but we're calling New Mexico. What? Yeah, duplistic. Anyway, and they say white city. Yeah, white city right here. And they always say these quakes are white city. Well, freaking, there's Pecos right there. Oh no, it's white city. I don't know why they do that. I think the AI is, kind of retarded.
Well,
But
I think it's whatever seismo they're
yeah.
picking it from.
Well, there is a no seismo there, but maybe there is. I'd have to look at the over here, the Alpine. Yeah, that will tell me. And share this instead. Map. Okay, there's Juarez, New Mexico. Yeah, there's nothing. Here's Carlsbad. That's what we're talking about. So they're saying that this sector right here, this one here, there's White City. All these earthquakes are happening down here. There's plenty more. It's just no sense. Now over here, the quakes happen here. So I'll go back to Alpine, which I like Alpine's Barstow. What? There's a Barstow, Texas? Sure the hell is. Anyway, this is, and you can see the earthquakes today. We just had that one. Today's 24/24. They have it as a 3/4. Let's see if it's. Wait, what date are they on? 7/24, right? Today. Here we go. Huh? West Texas 3/4. 2 3/4s today. All right. Going down. Guess they don't have it. All right there. What a 3.4 sounds like from the Pecos area, okay? That's what it sounds like. But this is the top. By the time it gets to Fort Stockton or Alpine, the first hit you'll hear boom, boom, and then all that other stuff is the P wave moving and the S wave coming behind it and echoing through a whole bunch of ancient coral mountains here, glass mountains and all this in West Texas there. That's all ancient coral. It used to be underwater, but it sounds like it's underwater. So that happened the other day. And the other one that happened today, man, this darn thing. 10 minutes. Custom. Screw it. Auto. Only a 3/4. All right there. No, that ain't the one. See, they don't have the one that just happened. That's what I want to see. I want to see it, son. I can hear it banging right now. today. Today was the calendar.
They don't have it yet. They're not that fast, I guess.
No. I mean, it did just happen. So 4.7. Yeah. Middle of Texas. Let's see. Yeah, you can't see it. Sorry. Goes back over here to Texas. But yeah, 4.7. I don't know if EMSC has it. Let's see. I know you don't see it yet. Just bear with me. No reason. It don't have it. You don't have it, man. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they're waiting for the USGS to confirm the downgrade before they
Let me see what the USGS has. Okay. It's got a little bit of a swarm right there. Tonga just popped with a 4.8. Yeah, but that West Texas, yeah. Herm-Lee, Texas? Is that what they're going to call it? Herm-Lee, and Herm-Lee. Well, why the hell I wouldn't call it Herm-Lee? Schneider. Weird. What the heck? They just do weird things. I don't even see the town of Herm-Lee.
Well, there must be a seismo there, and they say whatever, so many kilometers from whatever.
If I click this here, it says Herm-Lee, Texas, right? Street. Is there anything down there? Satellite. I mean, nada, baby. Here's Snyder. Here's Rotan. Sweetwater, Colorado. What? Tell me Herm-Lee's up here, right? And these little Midland, Texas. You see, I would call it Midland, Texas. Here we go. It just came in. 4.1. USGS is calling it a 4.1. I had it as a 4.7, but yeah. Oh, did it happen in Herm-Lee? Sure did. Whatever. Anyway, I'm ornery right now. Just because I've had to deal with so much bull crap. Anyway. What else we got, bud? All right, I'll tell you what we have. We have the fires that are gone ape turd. I mean, they've gotten a lot of rain in Canada, Western Canada. You're over in the eastern side. You've got some fires too in your area.
Well,
not on your not
Quebec.
Yeah, on the other side of St. Lawrence. Yes.
Yeah.
And you're in New Brunswick, Quebec. Yeah, they got fires. Have they burned down what's his name's house yet?
No, they're just trying to burn down the towns in Labrador because they've had to evacuate people there different times. But
yeah, because it's worth a lot of money.
Then it calmed down.
Yeah.
So then they went back. So they're back there now because it's been raining a bit. But it's the west now where the fires are the worst.
Yeah, like the last 3 years. The last 3 years just been crazy. But if you've seen video of the forests out there, gorgeous. And then when you get into the way, way, way outback, it looks pretty haggard and it needs to burn. And so I don't think that that's a problem. But off the subject, you're a Trekkie there, Canuck.
Yep.
What do you think about the October surprise that nobody knows about, but we do, being hitting the northern hemisphere? Have you read that one?
No, I never read that, but I don't know which one you're talking about. Did they give it a name or not?
Yeah, it's got a name, but I said it in the morning report.
I don't remember now. Well, Apophis is the one that's
Yeah, well, that's
2029.
29. Yeah. This one happens October 7th. It's roughly 300 feet wide on a collision course with Earth. That's pretty, hey. And I'm live map where, maybe I have something that says something. No, I don't. But fartfancy.
It's like the Greenland movie, except that was a comet with pieces falling off, and
right.
It
They said
stuff
that.
in with it.
Yeah, that other comet that was the devil comet. It was breaking up. They said it didn't break up. It's fine. It just was farting or something. Flare chance M flares at 60, so class X is down. That's good. But what is it? It's in October. I don't know if it'll let me look. It won't. It's a FA, and they actually called it the newest. I'm gonna ask him. Man, I'm gonna look it up. The newest.
Yeah, because I don't remember what they called it for a name.
I'm just, what's it called?
Did they give it a name or just like a number?
Yeah. Yes, they got a number to it. That's why I'm not good with numbers. I apologize.
Because that's usually what they do. They give it a number, and like whoever the person is that found it or whatever, they usually give it a number, and then something the name usually relates to whoever it was that noticed it first.
Yeah, I guess it's 1,100 feet across, and it was discovered in 2004.
Yeah.
So first asteroid estimated to have 1 in 111 million chance to hit Earth, October 3rd, is around 340 meters or 1,115 feet in size. So it cannot create havoc. Bullshit! It's a silly killer. 1,100 square feet. Imagine if that hits. The other asteroid is bigger collision possibility, but just like a small rock, and it's 3 meters or 10 feet in size. I guess there's two of them that are coming at us. 3 asteroids hurtling toward Earth. The Economic Times. Yeah. It says what? Who wrote? Yeah. Oh, will the collision bring catastrophe? Wow, what a headline, right? 1 in 11 million chance. NASA's ruling out devastation. It's supposed to be in the northern hemisphere, which kind of worries me. Why? Because I'm in the northern hemisphere. But and there's a couple other asteroids. One small, like I said, 10 feet across. It will hit the planet. It's at a way higher rate than one and whatever. So October is supposed to have those kinds of surprises. All right. So the devil, no, I'm just going to blame it on the devil, right? Yeah. The devil does want Mr. Trump in office. He wants this guy, so he's going to claim national emergency and shut everything down. And so he remains as president for the meantime until they figure out how to remove Mr. Trump. We can't even vote for him because they did martial law.
Well, I bet I know where it's going, but that's a whole other show.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, buddy.
Because the northern hemisphere is a big place.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I have an idea where it's probably going.
Well, I can hope it's going one place, but I don't want it to go another. But I don't want anybody dead, so I really pray it just misses us. you know, the one I saw wasn't pretty. So I'm not going to talk about it, but the one I saw wasn't pretty.
Because the one in the Greenland movie hit off the coast of Southern Europe in the
I thought it was Nova Scotia. It bounced. And then it flooded.
Yeah, there was like other smaller pieces ahead of it. Because one hit Florida. I can't remember if it was Tampa Bay or Orlando in the movie. And that's why everybody was going to Greenland, because pieces of it were crashing all over the place, like smaller pieces, but then the biggest piece was coming in and it would hit. I think it was off the coast of Southern Europe, I think. I think that's what it did in the movie, if I remember right. Which is why everybody was trying to go to Greenland, because they had the underground bunkers, and that's what everybody was trying to get to. All the important people.
Yeah. I looked at diabetes. I've been jumping around a little bit tonight.
Because I guess they're supposed to do a second movie of that. Of what happened after, supposedly. Greenland 2.
The Greenland 2? Yeah, I think Alaska and Mexico South are causing stress within the North American plate. I agree with you. Alaska's part of the North American plate, so is Mexico. And then the south of it is stressing things out because the Cocos plate and the Caribbean plate are bouncing because the Pacific plate's pushing. Hey, Conan, how you doing? Nice to see you. Nice to see you.
Well, if you look at the GPS stuff, South America's moving northwest.
Pretty quick. Yeah.
And smashing into Central America.
It's got to fold in on itself. Yep.
So
it's like what's happening in Indonesia. It's folding in on itself, and also over there in Fiji and Vanuatu, it's folding in on itself. The Fiji's coming over and going underneath.
So that's why I think when the big earthquakes happen in South America, it affects everything going right on up at the same angle, which is all those lineaments.
No, right?
West Coast.
We talking a few subjects out there, Conan. Nice to see you. We've talked volcanics. We've talked medical. Staying out of the politics right now. Who knows? Baseball might come into it. We don't know.
Yeah, which is why I did the 1951 thing.
So go ahead. You got something real big. So go ahead.
Yeah, because when that 7.4 happened down there, because it was at an unusual spot.
Down where?
In Chile, Argentina border.
There you go.
Yeah. And it was abnormally deep for that area, because it was like whatever it was, 120 kilometers deep. Well, I went back and I wanted to find out if they had quakes in that same spot before. So I started going back through all the records, and I found that they had a quake in the same spot in 1950 on December 9th, 1950. Yep. And it was an 8.
You were there during that rabbit hole.
Yeah. And
last week we talked about that, and I had the evidence right there on the screen.
Yeah.
And but it was 1950. And I said, yeah, just a little bit south of it, though. Not on the exact spot.
And it was an 8.2.
8.2, yes.
So it was almost one neg bigger than the one we just had. So then I said, well, I found that out and found all the information on it. And they did studies on it. So I'm going to put in the Wikipedia article that talks about it. I'll put that link in.
Right on. See, what he's doing is when I do the morning reports, I talk a little bit about it. And what we do on the rabbit holes, we'll take something out of the morning report, and we'll expand upon it, get a little more depth. Or if there's a subject that somebody's talking about online here, we'll get into a depth. And that's kind of what rabbit hole is all about. Already an hour and 14. Hey, man, it's only been 15 minutes to me.
Yeah.
An hour and 14. God bless America. Okay, so you got this one here. Yeah. Do you want to put that online?
Yeah, just bring it up and we can read it, because it's not very long.
All righty then. Put it right over there. Share the screen. There you go. And let me bring it into there. There, everybody can see it. This is the Wikipedia. 1950 Calama earthquake occurred in Argentina, Chile border, with an epicenter near Calama, Chile, in the Atacama Desert on December 9th. The event had a hypocenter depth of about 113 kilometers beneath the Chiniquique volcano complex. CAI, Cinque.
Chinchique.
Chinchique.
I don't know if that,
Cinque.
yeah, I think it's Chinchique. But
Yeah, I think it's something like that. Yeah. But there's no N, so it's Cinque. All right, so Chichi volcano, okay? Everybody loves a nice volcano with it. Well, an 8.2 happened right next to it, and I talked about that same volcano during the morning report. And I said, this thing right here, man, can pop that sucker off right there because it's so close. So let's take a watch. And the pressure has since moved out beyond it. The current 7.4 we had the other day. And if you didn't know that, today's date is 7/24/24. I think it happened almost a week ago, right?
Yeah.
And that was a big 7.4. And we've been talking about it on and off all week, but or last week too. And we looked at this on the rabbit hole or in the morning report. I don't recall which. Everything's a rabbit hole. And I was mentioning that, and I think it was the rabbit hole on Saturday, that 8.2. And that is really close to this little sector. And there's 3 levels of depths of earthquakes. And the article, I think it was you that brought the article up, Bud.
I can't remember now.
Two main fault systems that work through there. One is on the left of the volcanic arc, and one is on the right. But in this region, and there is volcanoes in here. So the higher you go up the mountain, the deeper the crust is, and the deeper the earthquakes are. But when you get down into on the coastal, it's relatively shallow, 35 to 45 kilometers versus 119 in one spot, and then 250 kind of far away on the other side of the mountain range. Both of these quakes that he's talking about, the 1950 and the one we just had, are on the western side of the Andes, but in the mountains. And both of these are devastating earthquakes. So I guess bring it back together. Go ahead, buddy.
Okay, well, so what I do once I get the data 1, so that was December 9th, 1950. So what I usually do, I take that date, and then I go, especially for the big ones in South America, I want to see what happens in North America afterwards for like the next year. So then I go to my Wikipedia article that shows all the large earthquakes for 1951, because that one was at the end of the year. So then I had to go into all the 1951 earthquakes.
Oh, hold on. But that was at the end of the year?
Yeah, December 9th, 1950.
Okay, cool. Then we go to 51. And
yeah, which is the Wikipedia.
Right. And by magnitude. And then we have a list of quakes here. And we're talking about
and that, like, at first I looked for the other big earthquakes that year.
Mm-hmm.
So the one that shows all the big magnitudes, but then I break into it farther because I want to see what happened every month, like afterwards. So I started in January,
right?
Because it shows all the quakes by month.
There is a Chilean quake, a 6.2.
Yeah, so there was another like aftershock. to
Is
it.
it, I don't know where Runga region is, but let me look real quick. It's a little south of it, but yeah, it's a little south of Atacama.
Yeah.
So,
And then what I do, I just keep looking for other ones that are like in North America. So I start going down through the list.
there's a Mexican Baja one, a 6-0
Yeah. A 6, yeah.
off of Baja
And
in
then you'll
January.
and then you'll see Panama
Uh,
started acting up.
yeah, Panama did. Yeah, 6-6 in January.
Yeah.
So you can see the progression north
Yeah, because
into Mexico, from Panama to Mexico.
with all the historical ones that I've covered in South America.
Then Alaska pops in with a 6.9.
Yeah.
In 1951. So,
and I just
we went from an 8.2 to a 6.9 all the way to Alaska in roughly 3 months.
Yeah.
And it's counterclockwise, sorry.
Yeah.
From South America up there. Now, that 5.0 or that 8.2 was right where we just had that quake, a 7.4. And guess what's banging today and yesterday? Panama.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it was within a month. Panama started having.
Yeah, but this is within a week.
Yeah.
Right. So Panama today last night banged off a couple of 5s. And I think some other ones. I mean, we can look up Hill. I'm right here, right? Ding, 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 ding. There's that Texas quake I told you about. 4.0 now. Himley, they called it a Himley. I told you they would. What the hell is it doing?
And if you keep going farther into that year.
Yeah, see, USGS doesn't have them on here right now. And that's just a pain. Hold on, bud. I'll get you. I just want to.
Ends up being like a 7 in Mexico. Guerrero.
Right. So we have a 5.6 and a 5.7 and a 4.9. So roughly 3 5s or 2 5s and a 6. All right. Roughly. That's what's happening in Panama now. So historically, we're looking back in the past in 1951. What's happening now? We had an 8.2 in 1950. In early 1951, we had the Panamanian quakes, a 6 right in there, bam, hitting, right? Now we have the same thing happening. A 7.4 in the same region of Chile, right? Then up in Panama, we're getting bang, a couple of 6s, right? So is there more pressure maybe shooting north? That's what we're doing. We're looking at the past and seeing if there's a correlation of what happens in the future. And we're like, or when we live, right? That's what we're doing. Is there a pattern that persists? It's not. You can't say, oh, it's going to be a 4.6 or it's going to be a 5.2 or no, it's going to be a 7, right? You can't say that. But what you can say is when this hits, that hits.
Yeah. And then
go ahead.
April that year, there was El Salvador had a 6.0.
So it's moving on up from Panama to El Salvador.
Yeah.
And don't think we did have a Guatemala here, 6.2 at 7:20. And I think that earthquake we had down here, the big one, was before that. Yeah. 7:18.
And then
there you go. Bang, bang, bang.
April 23rd, there was a 6.5 in Hawaii.
What about Texas?
There is in Texas later because I just looked that up. But
okay.
Not this soon.
I'm looking at Texas right now.
Yeah.
This here, and now Texas. Texas, they've had a couple of mid 5s. Texas don't get this. All right, everybody. They get 3s, 2s. Their strongest earthquake on record, I think, is a 5.6. Right? and it happened early, like 1930s, maybe something
Yeah,
like 40s
because the biggest quake in Texas in 51 was a 4.2, and it was in the Texas Panhandle, so kind
in
of
the
a
Panhandle. Yeah,
different spot.
yeah, but it's
In
still in
June.
Texas.
Yeah, in June.
You know, getting hit hard with storm. Oh, you got a habooby! Take a picture. Take a picture to habooby. It's not sex, everybody. It's habooby is a sandstorm. We had a little one yesterday, but he gets him down there because he's more in the sand, I think. That's Dub Diesel in the AZ. He's in the AZ. He's in southern AZ, and I'm in the north.
Yeah. So
go ahead, bud.
Also in April 1951, Argentina had a 6.8, and Bolivia had a 6.4. So that was in April 1951. So
filling in the middle. Okay, so you got Argentina down here. So the big earthquake hit here. Argentina barely moving out. And you had where else?
Bolivia
up here. So the pressure's still moving north and the pressure's still moving south.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
And then you start of May, there was 3 El Salvador quakes, 6.2, 6.5, 6.0.
Right up here. El Salvador is right here.
Yeah.
You can see where our earthquake here is after the earthquake, the 7.4 happened on the 18th. Here we are on the 20th, and bang, right? And these down here too, 722. You see what I'm saying? What happens is the same, not the same intensities.
No, because it depends on how big the original quake that you're going from. So this one, so what I think is that if it hits those other spots, like what it did in 51, it should be maybe a meg or so, maybe a meg less.
Well, there you go. You know,
but it still should hit like the same spots if that's what it's doing.
All right, so continue the month.
Okay, so then I went into May. Chile had another quake at 6.0.
6, all right. So that's an aftershock, just like what we were getting today.
Yeah. So then it went on, and then the next thing is in June. Southern Alaska had a 6.3, so it went up to the north again.
And looky there. We have a 6.0 on the 18th, by the way. So that's a little before. But
and then I kept going because I did the entire year.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to see what it was doing. And then there was Oaxaca. That's in July.
Mexico.
6.0.
Okay.
And then Guatemala on July 25th had 6.2.
Yeah. Backdraft. Go ahead.
And then August, start of August, Honduras had a 6.0.
All right.
Then Nicaragua, 5.6.
Moving south, yeah.
Then Hawaii went off again, 6.9.
All right. 6.9 in Hawaii. Oh my God. That's no joke. 6.9s are no joke.
Yeah, and I can't remember. There was 2. I looked them up that year. One was the southwest rift zone, and the other one was near Kapaho Bay, which is the stuff that was covered by Kapaho Bay was what was covered by the lava in the eruption in 2018.
What's that? Where's Kapaho Bay?
Big Island, Hawaii.
Oh, okay. I thought you were speaking Chinese.
No. So when I looked them up, because I wanted to find out more detail on what those 2 big quakes were.
Yeah, Alaska had a 6.3 in June.
Yeah, so one was basically the southwest rift zone.
Oaxaca.
And the other one was
in July.
East rift zone.
Right.
On Hawaii.
Guatemala, just after the Oaxaca, had a 6.2 as well.
Yeah.
You didn't see that one. The next month in August, you got Honduras with a 6.1. so it kind of like there's still pressure pushing up from the 8.2, right?
Yeah, because it was like
Right.
the biggest one that year.
And in the next month in August, Hawaii went off with a 6.9, which is really unusual. Everybody, that's not normal. I don't remember Hawaii ever having big ones. Then Northern Cal went off at a 6 the next month later in October. And
they have like information on when Kilaueas had swarms. So it was swarming in 1951, just like what it is now at the early part of the year. Because they have records on swarms, and because I think Wilsey did a thing on it too, because I remember him showing where the lava flows were, and they had like the year marked on them, and there was one that was 1951. But when I looked it up, it was swarming in the exact same place in 51 as what it is right now. So I thought that was interesting. Like the bigger quakes didn't happen till later on in the year there in Hawaii, but it was swarming with smaller quakes earlier that year. So if it follows that same pattern, we should get bigger quakes there.
Interesting you said that. The next month goes quiet, November goes quiet, but December, Columbia pops at a 6.1, and then Oaxaca pops at a 6.8, all in December.
Yeah,
and Guerrero comes back at a 6.5. So that 8.2, the pressure or whatever, the banging itself together, worked a little bit into the, and this is before they really had a whole lot of seismos, everybody, in 1950. It really started to become more prevalent after that. But the pressure to the Caribbean plate kind of sideswiped. I would like to find out if Mexico's Gallegos islands, the Gaguitos, islands. I wonder, because I know they didn't have seismos that would, really pick that up. But out here, I'll bet you something was happening out here.
Yeah, it's harder to find. You have to look under the Mexico info, but
Oaxaca being here and banging all the way over here, and then Chiapas is here, and then Guerrero's here, Jalisco, Michoacan, Nayarit is up the coast. To watch it bounce back and forth with South America, I have to think Texas, the West Texas, was banging off. And the only ones who would know that would be drillers, or maybe the Texas has, their seismos. I don't even know how you would do all
I
of them.
found out in the list of quakes about in Texas that they had a 4.2 there in the Panhandle in 1951, but that was the biggest one that they recorded. That I
Panhandle. That's West Texas.
Yeah.
That's not Panhandle there, right?
Well, they said it, and they felt it between Lubbock, Texas, and
West Texas.
Borger, I don't know how they say it. Borger.
Borgwa. Yeah. Booger. That's what it is. It's booger.
Yeah, because
I love it. Booger.
Listed the fault reports for it.
So that is West Texas. That's the Panhandle. So that's right in that area that we're talking about now.
Yeah.
Abilene's over there, San Angelo, Midland, all right, just north of Midland, where we just had a 4.9 2 days ago, and then today we just had a 4.7. So, hey.
And then in October, right near the start of October, off the coast of northern
in the same
California,
spot, by the way,
had a 6.
Well, they're calling them all 3s now. Look at that shit.
And another thing I thought was interesting was in that same month of October. Taiwan had a whole bunch of big ones all together in the same place that we just had the big one back in February or March or February, I guess it was.
All right.
So I thought
I'm buying the fact that it's bouncing from up and down from Alaska all the way down to South America, in areas that if it happens in this area, it's going to hit those other spots, and it's kind of like an electrical current that has junctions at every so often, light switches or outlets or whatever you want to call it, at every spot. Because when you get the big earthquake like 7.4, it still hit Panama, it still hit the up north too, and Oaxaca. So, and then Alaska's right before it, so that don't count yet. But it's it may start in Alaska and come south. We don't know. So maybe the 6.2 that was up in Alaska started the 7 or ended with the 7.4, and then it comes back up and you get your triangle. And where's your triangle at? Probably fifth go or something. But I don't know. I see what you're saying. I buy that. I don't know how the other side works. Like, where do we start? Where do we stop? Like, we have a starting point here in the, in Peru, moving up the coast. Did it move down to Sandwich Islands and move out that way, following the plate boundaries?
No, I didn't find anything about South Sandwich that year.
1950, they didn't have anything, probably, right?
Well, they might have in 50. I never looked back into 50.
All right.
But I didn't find any in 51 about South Sandwich.
Right.
But when I went down here farther, then I noticed that it was China acted up after, like big time.
Well, China's been bouncing here too.
Yeah.
Last couple of
so that was in like November 51. There was multiple 6s and a 7. And
now, how far do we go with this? And just being, what I hear from people sometimes. How far do you go into it and say, well, you start talking about all these different locations and it all fills in? Well, that's just where earthquakes happen. So are we making more of it than what should be? That's my question. And I hear that from other people,
Well, to me, because I was trying to figure out everything in North America first, but now I've expanded it way more than that. But just doing it from the North American side, whenever I found the big quakes that happen on the west coast of North America, it always starts with the big one in South America. So that's usually how it works. So then I carry
1812 is kind of that same thing. 1812, it happened, and then North America had a 1812 earthquake.
Well, that was actually different because it was the East Coast had it first, then Venezuela, then the West Coast.
Well, I'm gonna take a 5-minute break. I'll be right back. But Canuck, you've got the floor, and I'm sure if Clemmerdoodle wants to come in, he's there. He's taking a break too. Yeah, I'll be right back.
I'm here. Yep.
Yeah, and then so I went to December that year, 51. Then Colombia had a 6.1. Okay. Then Oaxaca had another big quake, 6.8. China acted up again with like 3 6s. And then the end of that year, Guerrero had another big quake, 6.5. Now, I already know what happened in 52 because 52 was the year all that other crazy stuff happened, the big Kamchatka 9, and you had the Tehachapi quake.
Right.
And all that stuff. So,
yep.
Like every year is leading into the next. Now, I haven't looked up to see what the solar stuff was doing back then. I haven't done that yet. But what I do now, like when I'm researching one of these quakes, I go out a year from it either way, usually. Well, in this case, I was going the year after. Well, I want to look up other weird things that happened, see if I can match them up with weird things that are happening now. So I started searching all sorts of different weird things from 1951, like from in different locations, just me from previous experience. So in Yellowstone, pork chop geyser blew up in 51.
Okay.
So we just had the one do the same thing in Yellowstone right now. So I thought that was interesting. And
That
so
was the same area as in 51.
Yeah, I was still in Yellowstone, but there's
Okay.
different. Yeah, it wasn't right in the same exact spot, but close to it. Yeah, so I thought that was interesting. So then I started looking up other weird stuff because I wanted to find out if there's like any other weird, unusual quakes, and I found some in Nevada that were like 5s. One was right by Susanville, California, which is right on the border there, where they had the fires here a couple years ago.
Yep.
And so I looked there, and they had a quake, and it shook everything up in 51. And then I started looking at other weird things, and they said it affected Mammoth, and the land fell at like Mammoth, went down like 10 inches or something after this quake at Susanville. So there was all like a big write-up on it, and they were trying to figure out, well, why would it do that? Because
how far of a distance is that from where the quake was to Lake Mammoth?
No, it's not that far. I forget how far Susanville is because it's right on the Susanville's right next to the Nevada border.
Okay.
Yeah, and then once you go across, it's. But in this US,
right there.
Yeah, this USGS thing I read, they said for some reason when that quake happened, it somehow did something at Mammoth where it, like the area where the Long Valley is, sunk like 10 inches. Yeah, it subsided 10 inches, and they were trying to surmise why it did that.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, so that was like a weird thing that I found when I started doing the different searches. And then I tried going up to see if I could find like if there was any weird quakes that happened in like Utah or Idaho. There was like a smaller quake in Idaho, but it wasn't. I think it was like a 4 or something.
Okay.
Because I have to like go to an area and search like a year, because if they're under like 6, they don't show it in like the big list, right? So I have to kind of go around and see other places. And then I said, well, I'm going to look at Vancouver Island and see if I can find any information about what it was doing there. And I found out they couldn't agree on the magnitude. They said 5.8 to 6. I think it was June that year of 51. And it was in the exact same place where we just had the swarm off Vancouver Island, because it was listed out of Tofino.
Okay.
Yeah. So the same area had a quake that year is where we just had the swarm that had the 6.4.
Right.
So I thought that was interesting. And so that's kind of what I do. I look along and see if I can find out any other weird things that happened in 51 that would match up with all these other things that track with, that could be related to the big quake in Chile going up. And that's what I do. So
right, well, if I remember right too, I think 51 and 52 were pretty active on the solar, weren't they? If I remember right.
Yeah, I know 52 was, because that was when the Kamchatka 9 happened, and the Tehachapi, whatever it was, 7.3 or.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. And then I know a bunch of the other ones that happened later. Yeah, later on that in the 50s. And like when I started looking up the hydrothermal explosions that were in the 2007 study that Wilsey showed, because I went and found it there tonight. And I went in and found the list, because they have 26 hydrothermal explosions on there, and the majority of them were in the 50s, and around 1960, right after Chile, 9.5. And then there's a big gap, and then it jumps ahead to like, I think the 80s.
What's the big gap? What's the big gap? Tell me.
Well, they didn't have any recorded hydrothermal explosions till like the 80s again. So it went from like there's a big gap from the 60s to the 80s.
What was happening from the 60s to the 80s in North America?
Well, the biggest thing was Alaska, 64.
No, what was happening in America from that time period? North America. They were nuclear testing. You don't think that would take some stuff out of it?
Well, maybe. I never thought about that, but they would have been doing nuclear testing though in the 50s.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Mm-hmm. If you looked at, did you look at 49? Pretty interesting.
Well, no, but there wasn't any recorded hydrothermal things in the 40s that I saw on the list. It was like 50s, late 50s and early 60s, and then there was a big gap till the 80s. And then that listing thing only went to 2007, but I looked up a bunch of the other ones that have happened like after that. But the Steamboat Geyser's been going crazy ever since Hawaii
in February, right? In February, the Adrena Islands had a 6.8.
Yeah.
Right after that, Mexico had a 6.5 in the same month. In March, of course, in Northern California, up there by, where we get up the Mendocino Ridge, 6.5.
Yeah.
Puget Sound popped off with a 6.8. It's all 1949. Chile popped with a 6.9. Chile with a 7.3.
Yeah, 49 is the year that Haida Gwaii had 8.1.
Mm-hmm. Chile is 6.6 the next month in May.
Yeah.
Mexico, Michoacan, 6.5, June. Argentina popped twice with 2 6.9s. And then we go from July. Guatemala with a 6. Peru with a 6.5. And then, that's it on that one. Then we go into August. Panama with a 6.5. Canada had an 8.0, Haida Gwaii, an 8.0 in August 1949. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, that's the biggest confirmed quake in Canada that they reported. Yeah.
And the Adrenovs went again. That's 6.8. So twice that time. So we've been watching Haida Gwaii in Alaska, but nothing's popped up there yet.
No, not yet. But we'll see.
The Alaska Peninsula is 6.7. You're talking a lot of major quakes up there in Alaska. Another 6.3 in 49. It was building up there. Well, I don't know what the hell that was. Mexico, Gulf of Mexico had a 6.8.
Because there really hasn't been anything big in Alaska since we had
8.2, right?
Yeah, in 2021.
Right. In December of 49, remember our starting year was 1950. Then we kind of expanded out 1 year on the other side. But the previous year, Chile popped with 2, 7.7 and a 7.3. Right?
Yeah.
And Mexico popped with a 6.5 and a 6.0, Colima and Chiapas. And then the next year, 1950 happened. But 1950, we were talking about the Chilean quake, right?
Yeah.
I don't know where the Chile. Okay, at the very tip where Sandwich Islands is, the year before had the 2 sevens on the tip of South America. So it moved north. From there, it moved north. And then we get the big banger that took place there in Chile. And then it moved through Mexico or, Central America all the way up the coast into Alaska. And I mean, forgive me if I put the words in your mouth, but you're seeing something happen right now that there's a plausibility of something happening from Haida Gwaii all the way to the Aleutian Islands, something significant, not major, but significant to share or to show that from Alaska down to Mexico, that it's connected all the way down to Chile. And I think that's what you're trying to say in a nutshell.
Yeah, so it should be like low sixes at Alaska. It's
Right.
following the same pattern.
Well, 6 is a significant quake. It's not a it's
Yeah.
only a 6. Yeah, be in one. Then tell me it's only a 6. You have no idea. Unless you've been in them, I mean, what was it? The Whittier quake, I think it was only a 6.2 or a 6.4, and the whole freaking town was wiped out. Almost all the big buildings were cracked, had to be torn down, rebuilt. So a 6 is no freaking joke. And when you're in one, you see you're riding it, baby. It'll put you on edge.
Yeah. And when I looked up the Vancouver Island swarms before for a bunch of different years, the bigger quake always ended up north of where it was. So like Haida Gwaii north. So I expect the next bigger quake is going to be up there between Haida Gwaii, and we just had Haida Gwaii do the swarm there with the 4. And I think it had another one there too. It was like a 3.5 or 3.7. So it's like it's moving up from where
From Haida Gwaii to Sandpoint.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it'd be as far as Sandpoint, but
all right, you think up there?
Probably between, probably more between Anchorage and Haida Gwaii.
So you're talking the Fairweather Fault. I don't know what the fault is named at the top. Do you?
No, well, it curves around and then turns into the Aleutian Trench.
Right. That's one of the lines that I spoke about right at the very beginning. And what a great segue.
Yeah.
Come full circle. You didn't think my craziness in the beginning would go full circle, but it did.
Yeah. So it got
How does that work out? Yeah. Just laying the groundwork, baby. So the supposition is this, that what we do is we investigate events happening. Let's say you pick one event, and you extrapolate out both ways, up and down, because everything's linear on data, but you extrapolate and you look for events that happen and then compare it with the history that we have now. And you can see a series of events that go, we're only looking I think primarily we're looking at within a year of either way of the big event, because our brains just can't think beyond that, Not even Canuck with his triple-decker brain. But we try. But together, we can do it, And I think that's what you're trying to say, and that's kind of what our supposition is, and that's what we do. And sometimes we do it live right here on Rabbit Hole Night.
Well, I think we try and simplify it down, but it actually carries on like over a longer period of time. We're trying to get it down to like
more evidence, synthesize it, But that's a tough word. Try to say that word. Synthesize.
Synthesize.
Say it 3
Synthesize.
times fast, though.
Right?
Yeah. So did Twitch crash or what? How come it's saying?
I think it reset.
Oh, it reset.
Oh, just reset right now?
I think
Back like,
crap.
I don't know, a few minutes ago.
Oh. I've been here listening.
Yeah.
I'm just...
It came right back up, though.
Yeah, it does. It does. It's a reset. We have 7 people. I don't know who got knocked off.
I think quite a few.
Yeah.
Yeah. We knocked it right off, I guess. I got too detailed. It couldn't handle all the info.
Yeah, shoot, man. We were banging it hard tonight.
Overload.
Yeah. So I don't know how long it's been like that because I switched from the other screen and I said, oh, well.
Yeah,
Well,
I didn't know. I don't
up
see.
30 minutes.
All right. So Flutter Girl says she's 5 here, there. It is 1:55 hours into this rabbit hole. Wow, it's been a rabbit hole. And I think you want to finish that thought pattern you were talking about there, Canuck, so that that'd be a nice closure.
Yeah, well, I think the next bigger one in North America is probably going to be between Haida Gwaii up to, say, Anchorage, in there somewheres. I just don't know exactly what spot it's going to be. So probably the next, like, high 6 or near 7 will be up there. Everywhere's else, like if Mexico or Gulf of Cali or someplace like that gets one, it should be like a low 6 based upon what it did in 51. Because I'm mainly trying to figure out North America, but I have other ideas about how it goes across the other way. But I won't worry about that right now.
Right through Hawaii, I know.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on, Vampy. Yeah.
Twitch is having a reset meltdown or something. I don't know.
Well, we've been having that problem with a lot of people who did that update, that last Windows update. You might want to turn Windows updates off, which I did.
Yeah, so it's going wild.
Yeah. CrowdStrike had a big problem, and it's been still happening through Europe. I don't know why, but it's still happening. But all right, so I think Canuck is like right in the same line as I think, and he's got a little more understanding of the lineaments and how that came about. I never understood what those were. But I think we've come to a consensus that electromagnetic, not like I said on the commercial, maggot or whatever I said. I forgot the magnetic, the netted. I forgot the netic part. But electromagnetic side of things where, I think explained it. I don't know if it was Rabbit Hole or Saturday. You got to see these rabbit holes. Go online to the channels Rumble or YouTube and look up the live rabbit holes. Yeah, we call them ley lines, or that. But and how it goes through the planet. It's not a line.
They're actually back to calling them lineaments and magnetic lines.
Right.
With the new satellite data from the Landsat 9. In the new studies that I've read, because it was launched in 2021. So all the new studies I've read in 2022, 2023, and this year, they're calling them lineaments again and magnetic lines because they can actually see that on the satellite now.
Right. They can see that stuff. And this is what's been happening probably the last 2 years, I would think, very dramatically. You can see the change in the USGS and how they communicate, and other geologists. They're now talking more and more and more about the electromagnetic ley lines of the planet and how the Earth is interacting with that. And I think we've been in the forefront of that myself, but because
because the new ones that I just read, they were mainly, it was when I was trying to figure out the Africa stuff, what was going on over there in Africa, and they have like all in the new studies, they have them all marked and how they connect, like into the fracture zones in the Atlantic and how they go all the way across to South America. So they're talking about how they all connect and how, even though they all have, there's different names for the fault lines or the shear zones or whatever, depending on where you are. But in these new studies, they're talking about how they go across and connect because they were all together at one time, right? So they don't really care that the mid-Atlantic ridge is there. The magnetic signature is still there from how all these things were connected.
Right. And like I explained before, if you were to take an apple and you cut it straight down through the whole apple all the way through, so it's in two pieces, but you didn't pull it apart, that knife would be acting like a ley line.
Yeah.
It's not just a thin line on a surface. It's all the way 360 at every moment in a degree, all the way through the core and out the other side. And it's all up, it's all hot at the same time.
Yeah.
And so
and it's just that we have 8 to 10 different ways of talking about, we're actually different people, depending which angle they're coming from, are talking about the same thing. They're just calling it a different thing, even though it's all actually the same thing. So the ley line people are talking about the same thing. It's just whatever term you refer to it by from whatever angle you're coming at. And this is the issue. So it's like you're speaking 15 different languages, and that's just in English. Well, in another language, they're going to call it something else. So then you'd have to.
Right. It's almost as though somebody doesn't want somebody to know everything. Yeah. Right? They've overcomplicated it by naming this and naming that. I wonder who has to hide the truth. Yeah. Is there something in the electromagnetic world we live in?
But it's like the same. It's like naming a plate, right? It's the same thing. We just give it a name because we have to have a name that we make up for it, right? So it's the same thing with all this stuff. So you could be talking about the same fault or the same crack.
But again, I was just bringing it into a little more reality of saying the big conspiracy out there is they don't want you to know what they don't want you to know. And, the Bible always says it's the glory of God that conceal the matter. It's the glory of a king to search the matter out. And that's what we do here at JSL. Thank you, Canuck, for what you brought for us tonight.
Yes, thank you, Canuck. Learned a lot.
And I didn't really think Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope. The damn bell's going off.
The bells are dinging.
Bells are dinging. No doubt. It's just Hawaii bouncing again. Low 1s and 2s. Yeah. Kind of threw me off when the bells were ringing.
Been a good rabbit hole, guys. And
yeah,
I learned a lot.
I'm having a great time. And I appreciate you so much, Canuck and Clem, for, being there when I had to go pee.
Yeah.
But
for whom the bell tolls for thee.
And we've been trying to, like Canuck and I talked about it yesterday. We're trying to cut these things down to about an hour and a half. We're 2 hours in now. Yeah, I know they kicked me off the other channels already, but hey.
Yeah.
Part two, Saturday evening. Are you available, Canuck?
Yeah, should be.
Clemmerdoodle?
I should be.
All right. I look forward to it. Saturday.
Yeah.
And we'll see y'all back. Part 2.
So who knows what we'll be talking about then.
I always wondered what the kids in high school, everybody be going, duh. I think it's part 2. Anyway.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, bud. Thank you, Clem.
It was fun. Good night.
Yeah, I always have a great time. Bye-bye.
Good night.
I love these guys.